Even when the weather outside is not very nice, I still can't help but just pop out and have a look round, see how things are getting on. Because you'd be surprised at how much difference it makes to have a couple of days of sunshine like we've just had, and then rains through the night. And it seems that when it rains through the night, the plants grow that much quicker. Things ripen faster. So today, there's a bit of wind, not too much. It keeps raining and stopping. So I'm just going to pop outside and have a look to see how things are getting on. And we've also got a few plants outside that we bought in 9cm pots last year. And they're perennial plants. And that first year, being last year when we bought them, they didn't really seem to do anything. So, only a few months ago, we took one out and we just popped it in ground. And I'll show you what it looks like now. So, if we just go over here, this is the bottom end of the garden. This is that plant that we put in. And it's grown really well. I've actually forgot what it's called. But if you know, just let me know in comments for future reference. But that was in a 9cm pot. And look how amazing it looks now. And as I said, that's a perennial plant. So that's going to come back every year, even bigger. And that one's a succulent. And again, it's grown really well. And it's split off into these little separate plants, which you can actually take off and repot, which is the reason why we've got 3 different plants that have grown at different rates, obviously, over the last couple of years, and it looks really effective. And now we've got another one. We'll just have a quick look at this pumpkin as well. It's now starting to turn orange, so that's going to be ready soon. This area, although it's a bit messy at the moment, is where we've been dumping these blue bedder plants, what we've pulled up. And we're clearing this entire area and levelling it out. And then we're going to spread these plants all underneath this holly tree, because they sell seed, which means next spring we're going to have a mass of blue flowers beneath this tree, and I think it'll look really nice. We'll get that job sorted out at some point this week. And obviously that T-Rex plant that we took out of that container at the beginning of the year and we popped in here, it's put on quite a bit of size. I think it started off with about 4 leaves on it. So this next year is going to be even bigger. And we also got a baby off it that we propagated, which is growing really well. Pretty soon we should be able to harvest some seeds from these sunflowers as well for planting next year. And we've got that other Jack the Little pumpkin, which is quite happily growing. And there is another one in that far corner as well, so hopefully we'll be getting a few of these by October. And we've just put it on this piece of mesh. That's to keep it off the ground, which will be constantly damp, and it'll stop it from rotting underneath. That's those random tomato plants we put outside quite a long time ago. If you remember, they didn't look very good at all, but now they're starting to fill up with tomatoes. So that's just an extra harvest for us later on. And we've got this cabbage. We looked at this the other day and it was doing really well, quite firm, but I've noticed now it's starting to get a little bit of rot on top. So there's no way I'm leaving that any longer. It's coming out, it's going to get chopped, blanched and frozen. So that's really annoying. This cabbage only a few days ago was fine. It had a slight bit of damage on top. And we took that away. Then it looked perfectly fine. But since then, in just a couple of days, it's got worse. And I think that when we did that video and we cleared all those leaves from beneath those brassicas, we had actually left it way too late. Because if you look inside there, there's loads of baby slugs. And that's what's causing all this damage. So even if you do get a day where the weather's not quite nice and you think, I'll check tomorrow, don't. This time of year, you need to be out there and checking every day. Because that quick, this can happen. And then your plant is gone. And it's took all that time to grow. Trouble is now, the more I look at this, the worse it seems to be getting. But we've got no option but to take all these leaves away. And I think once again we're going to be left with a really small cabbage, which is a shame. I think I just flicked a slug into my face. I'm just going to have to tear all this back. So unfortunately, once again, that's all we've got left. It'll make up a nice bit of coleslaw though, once it's been properly cleaned and soaked in a bit of salt water. But it's such a shame that it was over twice that size. And I wish I'd have pulled it the other day when we saw it and it looked so much better. There was none of this decay on the top. There was just 2 leaves that we actually took away. 2 days later, you've got that. And it's because that infestation had already started at the base. So now I've took away that root, getting it a good wash. It's perfectly clean. And we can chop that up and blanch it, pop it in freezer. Or we can use some of it and make some nice fresh coleslaw. Because we know now it's 100% bug free. So once again, keep your eye on your brassicas. Keep checking those bottoms. Because within 48 hours, you could be reduced to that. And that plant that we saw at the beginning of the video, the one that has gone from a little 9cm pot into a big, amazing looking yellow flowered plant. At this time of year, you might come across a few sales. Even in your local supermarkets, if it's a perennial, it means it will come back next year, regardless of frost and snow. So if you can drop on some really cheap perennial plants, get some, because that's what I do every year. And even if they don't look much, they're starting to die back, it's not a problem. They'll definitely come back bigger and better in spring. If you want to see what else we do over the next couple of months, just hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.